All right, and we are live on Google Hangout on YouTube with Get the Tables podcast, episode number 9. I'm your host Tony with my two co-hosts as always, the bizarre one Dave and Justin. How you guys doing tonight?
Fabulous.
Great.
Good. We're also live on Periscope as well, so we appreciate everybody who came in on Periscope to check us out tonight. We appreciate all the hearts and all that. Thank you very much. We'll touch on Raw tonight, touch on SmackDown. We'll touch on the recent releases on in the WWE, which is Joey Styles and Ryback getting released. Dave will touch on TNA a little bit. Get into the Conor McGregor issue, the whole he ripping WWE, or the wrestler, I should say. And CWC. Tomorrow starts the second round, so that should be good. We'll get Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander.
That's going to be great.
That should be a fabulous job. So if you thought Raw and SmackDown wasn't good, check out CWC. You'll definitely get your money's worth there. But let's start with Raw. We'll run through it really quick because I think we can all agree last night's Raw was not very, very good. They did miss a lot of their talent due to them being on tour. They are going on tour to Australia this week. I think it's kind of bad timing, especially since SummerSlam is 2 weeks away. So they didn't have a lot of their big hitters on Raw. You know, there was no Balor. I think the biggest names on Raw were Kevin Owens, Jericho, and Reigns and Seth Rollins. I mean, Rusev was on Raw as well, but not very, very many guys. It was very, very promo and video package heavy last night on Raw. Not too much wrestling, but we'll get into it. That's just stuff. It started out with Enzo and Cass opening up the show, which then led to Jericho coming out, and which then led to Kevin Owens also coming out. Then, which I thought was kind of interesting, was Owens kind of teasing a little tension between Cass and Enzo, saying that that Enzo is kind of holding Cass back, and kind of compared them to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn back in their little NXT rivalry. Pretty much set up a match with Enzo and Jericho. Let's just run through the whole thing. Which then Enzo and Jericho got in a match, ends up in a DQ because Kevin Owens gets involved, which then led to Cass getting in and giving the big boot.
Head off.
Yeah, knocking Jericho's head off. We'll get into the ratings in a minute. And, Cass causes Enzo the match, and then they challenge Jericho and Kevin Owens to a match at SummerSlam. Tag match at SummerSlam. So, opening segment of Raw. Dave, I know you didn't look like you cared for this opening segment too much. What did you not like about the opening segment of Raw?
I thought the talk. Yeah. And the match was okay. The DQ was kind of like, I wish it could have. They could have just let it end at a clean finish like that. There's really no point having Cass come in. I mean, the match wasn't bad. I mean, it was the longest match on the show. I think it went close to 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think Cass getting involved was the whole thing to set up the match for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know, they could have made it and just had Jericho get the win like that and then challenge them.
Right.
Jericho still won by DQ.
Jericho did win by DQ. Kevin Owens and Jericho are going to be a nice little great tandem. Justin, your thoughts on the opening segment?
I kind of agree. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I mean, the promo work between the two teams was, I thought, pretty good. Enzo Amore is pretty good on the mic, and you got Jericho, who's awesome on the mic. So that whole part of it, I really enjoyed. And I mean, the match could have been a little bit shorter. I would wish someone would have won via pinfall instead of disqualification, but that's how it went down. So
What did you guys in Periscope think of it? Let us know. Give us your thoughts. Yeah, I think the same. It was all just a whole 30-minute match just to set up a tag match at SummerSlam. That's what it seemed like to me. So
with this was that we're invested for about 30 minutes,
right.
and you give us a DQ. That's what a lot of fans, I think, at least I didn't like that part. I was like, okay, I sat here to watch the match. I thought it was a pretty good match for like 30 minutes, and you give us a disqualification.
yeah, you could have had like Kevin Owens distracting Cass, and then Jericho could have won by submission or whatever.
If non-main event talent are gonna open Raw, they better knock it out of the park, and they didn't.
I completely
But setting them up for a DQ is not really setting them up for really. It's kind of setting them up to fail, because if they pull off a great match and it ends up in a DQ, you're gonna be like, shit, man, they just fucked up the match. I wanted to see them winner.
Yeah.
But then again, you're like, oh, I just saw a 30-minute match and it just ended in a DQ. So it's like either way, you win or lose. So
Well, like today, the whole, not to jump too far ahead, but Orton Del Rio, spoiler alert, it ends in a DQ. That was a good DQ. It was a good fit. It was a good match. It was a good finish for a DQ. I had no problem with that. It just flowed and felt right.
the DQ made sense. I understand. I get what you're saying.
With injury, so.
Next, but we'll move on. We'll move on because I don't want to touch on Raw for too long because there's other things we could touch on, and like we said, Raw wasn't that great. Strowman against another local jobber. I guess we're gonna see this for the next couple of months.
This has got entrance music. Shit.
Yeah. Do you guys think they should change Strowman's look?
As in,
I don't know. I think he's good the way he looks right now. I mean,
I think he still looks like the Wyatt. He's just like a Wyatt. I think he needs like a different. I don't know, maybe a different look, maybe something different.
or his
A manager, something.
attire, maybe. I guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't mean like, guess you don't want to make him too much to make the big show, but I mean, just something different. He still looks the same.
yeah, I mean, there's not much really you can do to him unless you put like a mask or paint or.
I mean, just maybe it's a new.
Don't care for Braun. He's been a non-factor for too long. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I'm just saying.
But the only thing that Braun, I guess, has for him is that he's technically undefeated, that he's never been pinned.
Yeah.
So, you guess you could. I don't think they really mentioned that much, but I guess that's why they're making him look so goddamn dominant. And I'm not really sure where they're gonna go with this. I'm sure someone's gonna make like an upset on him, but we'll see. We had the backstage segment with Puff Daddy. Ugh. Basically, Puff Daddy's there because he's gonna be on the 2K17 soundtrack on the WWE. Not much really to touch on that. We can ignore that part. Darren Young tried to.
Involvement too. He didn't need to be on that show.
Who, Puff Daddy?
Yeah, I'm glad that was his only involvement. Just that little segment.
Right. Yeah. Just. You're right. They could have did like a commercial ad for that shit. They didn't have to have Puff Daddy on the show. They just wasted their money on that because I'm sure they had to pay him to go on that. Darren Young's Titus O'Neil rematch from last week. We get this. Wait a sec. We got the same result. Basically, Darren Young won via roll-up by cheating. He grabbed the tight. So.
Still won last week.
Puffy was on the show. Yeah, he was. I don't know if you remember seeing that. I'm guessing this will definitely be a pre-show match. 100%.
Oh, it better be. It better not be on the card.
Definitely. Looks good to mainstream. I understand why he was on there, to fans. I understand why, but honestly, do you think Puff Daddy knew anybody that was in there other than maybe Mick Foley? I mean, seriously. I'm sure he has no idea who New Day is, but
he's even been relevant. I mean, let's be real. I mean, when's the last time Puff Daddy had him?
And of all people to have him, oh, we're going on tour and naming off these guys he's going on tour with, to Mick Foley of all people. I mean, you think Mick Foley knows who any of those people are?
Yeah, he's out of touch.
Faith's going to be there. I mean, come on now. I mean, Mick Foley doesn't know who the hell that is. I'm sure that was scripted to say, but damn, it was just hard for me to watch that part. I didn't care for it. But yeah, we'll move on. Titus O'Neil, Darren Young. I'm probably gonna see another match again on either next week on Raw or on the SummerSlam pre-show. Next we got the Seth Rollins promo. What did you guys think of his promo? Justin, you go first.
I liked it. I mean, he got straight to the point. He pretty much told of Finn Balor's background, what his name means, and talked about the Demon King. The only thing I wish they would have done is I wish they would have played Balor's video first and then had Rollins do his afterwards. That way, you know, he could have talked about the Demon King first, and then Rollins could have, you know, came back after that and then talked about it. It just seems like it should have been reversed.
Right. But other than that, you like the Rollins promo. Okay,
oh,
Dave?
Yeah, that was really good.
Oh, you guys cleared this up for me. I was wondering why it was going to be Rollins versus the Demon Kane for the title. That was throwing me off.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Demon Kane. I swear, I thought it was a Demon Kane. And it's like,
didn't see promo. Was it used to get him heat? It was more of him to have Balor release the demon, because Balor's going to be the releasing of the demon at SummerSlam, so you'll see Demon Balor.
Well, they did say that Rollins calls out the demon.
Yeah, at Raw and Corpus, he's gonna call out the demon supposedly. So.
Yeah, Rollins is calling him out. So, that's gonna be an awesome damn entrance.
And it gets wasted on Corpus.
I don't think they'll do it. I hope not. I better not waste that shit on Raw.
He's supposed to do it on Raw. He's calling out the Demon King on Raw, he said.
Do they really got to say Demon King? That just sounds stupid. I'm sorry.
Balor, yeah.
Well, same thing. Demon King, Balor. We all know who he's talking about, but
I'm wondering. Fergo Devitt was going to be his other name, but still.
I just find it funny that they're using that now to use that's why they're bringing out the Demon King. So
they're just trying to introduce him to the Raw crowd, basically.
Right, yeah, giving them, I guess, a cooler name instead of the Demon. They're giving them the Demon King, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, we'll just move on from there. Cool, nice little promo for Seth Rollins. They're setting up this match pretty nicely. They haven't put their hands on each other physically yet, so hopefully they don't touch each other until SummerSlam. That'd be nice.
Yeah, didn't they do it last Raw where he kicked Rollins out of the ring?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's right.
A little physical.
Yeah.
Not too extreme.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And you haven't seen Balor face anybody since he won the #1 contenders match. He hasn't faced anybody in the ring, so.
Rollins has a match since Battleground, has he?
Rollins has. I don't think he has. I think you're right. I don't think either one. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing for Balor. Since day after Battleground, either one has had a match. So.
I'm sure they haven't. Yeah.
So that's actually interesting. No. Rollins had a match against Sami Zayn.
Oh, that's right. Last week, yeah.
That's right. Hello. We forgot about that. So let's move on to the next match. It was a rematch from last week. Again, another rematch. Cesaro versus Sheamus. Cesaro gets the win over Sheamus to prove that it wasn't a fluke that he won last week. And, it just... The roster was slammed, so they had to use those two guys. I thought the match was good. I mean, it was just...
It was good last week, though.
Yeah, I just don't want to see Cesaro versus Sheamus anymore. I want to see Cesaro... move on to bigger and better things. They hyped up the Orton and Lesnar feud again. They showed another video package of the two. I like how they're making this match important. And it's not so much about we want SmackDown that we're going to be the better brand. It's more these guys never faced each other before. It's 15 years in the making, and
But that's hard to believe they never had a match.
I'm sorry, Justin.
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, I said it's hard to believe they've never had a match before.
Yeah, in like 15 years.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that they've never faced it or they've never crossed paths before. Do you think they're giving this match the right enough justice? And where do you think it lands on the card? We'll go with you first, Justin.
I mean, yeah, they're certainly putting a lot into it, so I think they're giving it the right amount of, not promos, but the right amount of like video packages and talking about it. As far as on the card, I'd say maybe third to last, I guess, maybe.
So So you say it goes that match, then the 2 title matches.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Dave.
That's tough to say because you still got AJ and Cena as well. I mean, that's tough because where they put it, it depends.
I think it goes. I think it goes after that match.
Dude, I think they definitely got to be split up somewhere. I could see AJ
in a 4-hour show. In a 4-hour show, I would not be surprised if that match is in the second hour.
What style?
So they can give that match some time.
So 8 o'clock.
Give them the top of the hour. Give them a nice 20-minute match. You know, an hour where they're rushed or, they may not have enough time to do the match that they want. It's a 4-hour show. Why the hell not?
I mean, they can go as long as they want. We've seen that the last couple pay-per-views.
Yeah,
they
has gone on. That is true. And I think if they are going to go over, it would be for a Brock and Randy Orton match. I think that match is going to be all over the place, to be honest with you. But where do you think it may lay? If you had to put it on right now, would it go before any of the title matches, or would we go after?
See, I think it goes before how they want to do the titles. I think if they want to make the women's title mean still something else, I think Brock should go on before the women's title match too. If they want to make the women's title mean more.
Okay. Alright. Next we had the weirdest tag team combo ever, Neville and Sin Cara take on the Dudley Boys. Sin Cara and Neville and Sin Cara get the win. Not really much to talk about there. Sasha versus Dana Brooke, winner. If Sasha wins, she gets Dana Brooke banned. I was hoping Mick Foley was gonna say, you know what? We don't want nobody on the ringside. We're gonna make this match a damn cage match. No. Sasha Banks for some reason wanted. I don't know what. This match kind of made no sense to me. Because she wanted a handicap match, right? I want to face both of them at SummerSlam. But then he was like, all right, if you win, I'll ban them. If you lose, you can have the handicap match. I mean, that made no sense to me, kind of. She didn't ask for Dana Brooke to be banned. He just kind of
Sasha got hurt at first when the match first started. Her neck kind of went to the bottom rope, almost like Enzo's did a couple months ago. I don't know if y'all caught that. But,
no, I didn't see that part.
Yeah. So.
I think it was the women's match on the card.
I'm sorry?
I think it was just a way to have the women on the card because they didn't have no other women's match.
Right. Let's see. What did y'all guys think of it in Periscope? What did you guys think of Raw itself in Periscope? I'm curious to see that. We had the Rusev wedding celebration where Reigns, of course, crashes it, challenges Rusev to a match. We'll see them face each other at SummerSlam for the U.S. title. Let's see, what else? We had the Balor promo where he announced that he will be bringing out the Demon Balor at SummerSlam, and apparently he's supposed to be debuting it next week in the shitty-ass crowd of Corpus Christi. So, lucky them.
Balor doesn't suck.
Hell no, he doesn't. What the hell?
Who put that? Someone put that in Periscope?
Texas Kid.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
I'm not seeing any of these chats, so I may have to remake the Periscope. We had Kofi versus Gallows. Quick match. Gallows gets the win. They tried to tease another the I don't know what ring. What do they call it? Ring postitis or some shit like that.
That whole segment was awesome with him playing.
I'm gonna remake the Periscope.
That was
So. Yeah, no Big E on the show, so that was interesting. Okay, let's touch on this Foley. I'm sorry, Dave. What?
They're playing off like Big E's injured because of the ring post thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty good.
I just see them better as being the badasses, not so much comic relief. I'd rather just see them stick to that.
What, the New Day?
No, Gallows and Anderson. I really stick to being the badasses that they are, and not so much the comedy stuff.
Oh, okay, I get you. You want them not to? Yeah, okay. You
I mean,
want
they're entertaining with the whole beat up John Cena stuff. But I would just rather see them stick to the whole. We're just badasses, and that's it.
Yep.
Okay, we're back on Periscope. All right. Okay, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I was not being able. I couldn't ever see anything in the Periscope chat room. All right. Next, we had Foley and Daniel Bryan. I thought we were talking about this before the show. About why the hell was Daniel Bryan even on the show? Because it kind of was pointless, where he didn't really do anything. I think we discussed the Stone Cold podcast. Yes, we will. I think Daniel Bryan was on the show just for hopefully to help the ratings, which ratings was awful overall. I don't know if else. Ratings were not good. And I also thought it was to set up what they did, which was have Rusev came out, and I'm not really sure why he came out for. What was the exact reason he came out in the first place? Do you guys remember?
I think he was trying to kiss Foley's ass to get him out of the match with Roman Reigns.
Right. He was kissing Foley's ass, and which then led to Cesaro coming out and saying that he deserves his title shot against Rusev. And then you had Daniel Bryan kind of like egging it on, saying, we should have drafted you and that you're getting underutilized on Raw, which then kind of peer pressured Foley to making them U.S. title match out of nowhere. This was kind of like a gift from Vince McMahon saying, you sat through 3 hours of Raw where it's been absolute not very good or crap. We're going to award you with the U.S. title match at the end of the show. And I thought the match was really good. I actually thought for a minute there Cesaro was going to win. He obviously didn't because of Sheamus coming down and helping Rusev get the win. And, of course, Reigns ends the night with a spear on Rusev. And, the crowd kind of went wild for him. Do you think this Rusev feud will get Reigns over with the crowd?
I mean, it might be starting to. You don't hear as much any boos unless they're just drowning them out now completely. But I didn't really hit any
perhaps okay, in the chat room.
So.
He has been getting a little bit more of cheers. There's still those boos, and he's gonna get booed in Brooklyn without a doubt.
For sure.
Brooklyn's a WrestleMania crowd. There's gonna be the smart fans or whatever you want to call them there. So they're gonna boo Reigns. He's gonna get booed. But
Rusev is probably the most hated heel right now because the whole "I hate America" thing just works, and people hate Rusev.
Mhm.
So he's probably the best heel right now to get Roman over.
Okay, that is true. I think that is a good point. Rusev is probably the best.
He is getting cheered.
Because Rusev is the only heel in the WWE doesn't. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't get cheered. He's
Yeah.
not an in-betweener. They just don't like him.
Yeah, I mean,
There's nothing to it. So Reigns is the only Reigns can only benefit from this if they plan it out right. So I mean, we'll see what happens. The match was good, like you said. Well, what did you guys think of the match? We'll go with you first, Dave. And let's go,
actually,
please.
they were send us to the network for a minute too. I was like, okay, they're gonna send us to the network now, because it was really odd that they just said, "Oh, here's a match." It was like it just threw me off. Like, really? But yeah,
Right.
it was good. It seemed like almost we got a dark match, but on Raw. It seemed like that was something after Raw went off the air. Okay, here's the U.S. title match. But yeah, I mean, it ended, and then yeah, of course, Rusev kept the title, which I was kind of wondering, like, if Cesaro wins and then Reigns beats Cesaro for the title, man, the crowd would just kill him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did the smart thing and did not have. I mean,
And if that though, even if Reigns won, just because it would have been better, I think, because you'd get two. But Cesaro would be hella over at Brooklyn.
oh, definitely. I mean, no matter what, he's gonna get booed. He's going to get
Yep.
booed. He's facing Rusev. He's going to get He's gonna get booed even at Brooklyn. Other places he won't so much.
It'd be hard because when you get those hardcore wrestling towns, I mean, Reigns is in trouble. I mean, the other spots, not so much, because every single town isn't a hardcore wrestling town. That's why you save them for special
Yep.
events.
Mhm.
I just feel like this is probably his only hope to get over with the fans, and I guess we'll see what happens. But tonight or Raw, if you were to give it an A, B, C, or D, or an F, what would you give it, Dave?
Oh, man. This is tough.
And I have another question as well, and y'all can go ahead in the chat too. What would you give it, A, B, C, D, or F for Raw?
How about an E?
Someone gave it a B. Someone gave it a C minus.
I mean, it was bad. I'm sorry.
I'll say C plus.
What's the plus for?
Just giving them extra points just to give it to them. Huh.
I would give it a D. Just because the matches were all right.
D for disappointing.
Yeah, because I knew they were, and plus I guess I give them the benefit of doubt because I knew that they were going to be shorthanded. But then again, it's so dumb for them to have such a big tour when they have a SummerSlam pay-per-view 2 weeks from now.
But let's not forget this either. Kevin Owens, Rollins, who was the other one? Kevin Owens, Rollins, and there's someone else I can't think of, but they were all there, but they didn't wrestle.
Yeah, I mean that was wasted talent right there. Yes.
I'm trying to think of the third guy I'm trying to miss. Kevin Owens, Rollins, and there's somebody else I can't think of now, but yeah, but they didn't wrestle at all, and they could have all wrestled that tonight or something.
Yep.
They have the Olympics on Monday? Yes, so I think that's why Raw had bad ratings also. But yeah,
But they had Olympics tonight too. They didn't really phone it in tonight.
yeah, but like we said earlier before we got on the show, that they actually had their full roster minus Styles and Cena.
Yeah, I agree. Raw could have used the talent they had actually put in matches. Half of them didn't even wrestle.
Right.
They could have had Rollins.
Rollins and Kane aren't draw someone. Oh, come on now. That's your opinion, so I respect your opinion. But they could have had more wrestling, I think, if they utilized those guys if they wanted to. But since the first Raw since the draft, Raw hasn't been like over the top great.
Nope.
It's been kind of the same, I think, right? Has
Yeah,
Raw
there's
been
a bunch of rematches all throughout these last 3.
has Raw changed since the draft, since that first show? I don't think it has.
No.
No.
Now, if you asked me that about SmackDown, I would say yes.
SmackDown, I think so. Raw, not so much. But let's give y'all an updated SummerSlam card because, man, this SummerSlam card is stacked. We got Baylor Rollins, Ambrose Ziggler, the tag titles, Gallows and Anders taking on the New Day. We got Reigns versus Rusev, Miz versus Apollo Crews, Styles versus Cena, Randy Orton versus Lesnar, Banks versus Charlotte, Enzo and Cass taking on Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. I mean, my goodness, that is a WrestleMania card right there.
That's better than this past WrestleMania.
Yeah, they didn't have half these guys at WrestleMania. Cena, Rollins, all injured.
For the pop. They're definitely going to open the show. They're definitely going to open the show. That should be the opening match for sure. That's why I was thinking maybe would they brave enough? Are they that eager with Cash to break them up already?
I think it's too
That's what I wonder. That's what I wonder.
Yeah.
Would they? If Cash turned on Enzo Amore that night, he would be the biggest heel in WWE.
Yes. Yeah, you're
In
right.
their hometown. I know Cash ain't ready. I know he ain't ready. I know that he ain't ready.
I thought Enzo ain't.
No way I see Owens turning on Y2J. Okay, that could happen. That is definitely that definitely could happen. But we'll move on to
Jericho turn on Owens.
And then
right.
that would be Jericho face, and then before Jericho's probably getting ready to leave, I would think in the next 3 or 4 months again, but who knows?
Yeah, that's before we they can do a who's better Canadian feud. They could do that and it would work because they are both great on the mic. Let's touch on the podcast a little bit. To me, Ambrose kind of felt uncomfortable talking about family.
Yep.
When he wanted to mention about his family, Ambrose really didn't want to touch too much about it. Kind of felt kind of awkward at a minute. I thought Ambrose was high. I think Dean had a bad childhood. That's what I heard. I heard he had a pretty bad childhood, but he kind of played it off and made it seem like he had a good childhood and kind of called Brock Lesnar lazy and you, for one, Dave, said you kind of enjoy Jericho's podcast more than Austin's on the network.
Well, in general, I don't mean just on the network, but I mean in general, because Austin. Yeah, I just think Austin just comes off like he was just trying to. I don't know. It's like he was trying to get him to be more
open up about it.
I just seemed more mad or angry, or because it seemed like Austin got literally pissed off when Ambrose cut that promo out of nowhere on him. It seemed like that pissed Austin off, and he tried to say, "I want to challenge you to be better, push the envelope, and all that." And it's like, what are you talking about? Challenge him. I mean, it just made no sense to me.
I missed those comments. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I think Austin's more firm, and I think he wants you to open up more about your family and stuff like that. And Jericho's more laid back, talks more about wrestling, not so much about your family and outside life as much as Austin does.
Austin tries to stay in Stone Cold character all the time.
It started a feud, Austin versus Dean. Yeah, we can all dream and wish.
That would be interesting.
I think Ambrose. I mean, I really became even more of a fan after this interview because Ambrose just seemed like a regular guy. I mean, if you didn't grow up with a perfect family, or you grew up in a low-income housing or anything like that, you can kind of relate to saying, "Oh, you had a bad childhood." I just had it compared to who? I mean, compared, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people who grow up with not a lot of money in a both parents and a great family. I mean, parents who work third shift and don't get home and sleep all day. I mean,
best
that happens. I mean, that's life sometimes. And sometimes you don't have no one. You go out and do stupid stuff, like he said. I mean, he talked about shoplifting a bunch of wrestling tapes back in the day. Doing,
I mean, at least he didn't really discuss his parents too much, but at least he was honest with what he did in his past and the mistakes he made and how he was. Oh, what was that, Justin?
On more and more as it, which I thought was all right. Now it did look like Austin actually pissed him off after he told him you rest on your laurels or whatever. It looked like he was like legit pissed off at when Austin said that. So
yeah, it looked like they kind of got heated a little bit between the two, but
I think I was shocked the way Ambrose. I mean, I didn't know Ambrose could cut a promo. Just he cut it like that on Austin. Like he's like one of those guys who are just like boom. He can do it like he can cut a promo on anybody. I mean, it's like a Ric Flair type thing, you know. I'm not trying to compare the two, but who can just cut a promo out of nothing, and it was just like wow, just right off the cuff like that. And I like.
He basically said he can go off the top of his head, but if you give him a script, he can't remember anything.
Yeah, I like that part. How he talked about how he's more free now with his position to really go out there and do whatever you want. He even said Vince said that say whatever you want. I mean, it's like very few guys probably got that freedom, obviously, nowadays. And that's the biggest problem with WWE right now.
Oh, yeah.
Scripted promos. Very few guys can just go out there and do whatever they want.
Okay, so let's move on. SmackDown Live tonight, where we opened up with Bray Wyatt and Rowan, the Wyatt family. I gotta run real quick to the next room real quick. I'll let Dave and you guys touch on it real quick, and I'll be right back. Just give y'all thoughts on the opening segment, kind of what went down, and what it led to. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I thought Bray Wyatt came out and cut a freaking awesome, one of the best promos I've heard in a while. I mean, wow, this promo was awesome. I mean, just the way he cut this, I mean, it was like, man, I was really impressed. I haven't heard a great promo like this in a long time from Bray Wyatt or anybody, really. I mean, did you enjoy this promo opening up? I thought it was great.
Oh, absolutely. I thought the same thing. Bray Wyatt is right now in the WWE, one of the top people to talk on the mic. His promos are, I mean, with the best of anybody's. The only thing I didn't really have a problem with it, but I mean, are they the Wyatt family again? Are they not the Wyatt family? It seems like it changes from week to week. So I mean, that's the only thing.
It depends. I think if Luke Harper does come back and he joins them again, I think they either become the Wyatt family or a version of them. I mean, Bray's new look is definitely different. I mean, Bray does come off like a preacher. He kind of changed. See, he even has a new look now. I mean, Bray has like dreads now. He doesn't wear the hat. Don't bring out the rocking chair no more.
Yep.
He looks completely different.
Yeah, he completely changed his look, and I think he looks even better.
My question for you guys is, I had a poll on Twitter as well. You can answer in Periscope as well. Should it be a triple threat match, or should they just do Ambrose versus Ziggler?
I think Ambrose versus Ziggler should stay, and they need to find something for Bray to do.
I agree.
Yes, triple threat. But who to face for Bray Wyatt? Who is there out there? They haven't really teased another even few close to Wyatt.
I'll say add Bray and Rowan to like the tag division and make them a tag team. I don't know what to do with them really.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of tag teams, we had American Alpha, and all the tag teams were out there. And there's only like four or five tag teams. It's just crazy how division is.
Yeah. Speaking of American Alpha, we'll get to them in just a second.
I mean, who's on the roster against Bray right now? Honestly, we sit there and think about it. I mean, Corbin is doing his thing with Kalisto, it seems like. I mean, he's a heel anyway. I mean, what do you really do? Who's on the Rock? Zack Ryder?
Him and Rock interferes. Don't hold your breath on that one, bro.
And Zack Ryder, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
It seems that they keep teasing it that somehow Bray Wyatt's going to be involved in this match. I mean, this is the third week in a row that he's faced Ziggler or had some kind of match between the two guys, or he's involved with some kind of, it's just.
So I could see after SummerSlam, I could see Orton and Bray Wyatt. I could see that.
That would be
versus
interesting.
later.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all.
I could see something like that happening.
Yeah, maybe they move on to Bray Wyatt, and yeah, you never know. I mean,
it's gonna happen tonight when they showed Slater City.
Bray.
And Bray's like, uh-oh.
Right. So the opening 7, which led to a tag match, which was the main event of SmackDown Live tonight, was Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose taking on the Wyatt family, Rowan and Bray Wyatt.
A promo. Did you enjoy this promo too?
Who's Bray Wyatt? Oh yeah, I always enjoy Bray Wyatt's promo.
I was saying that this is probably the best promo I've seen in a long time. From anybody.
I liked how Ambrose would say, it's always now you're complaining about woe is me when he used to be there. It used to be the other way around. How he used to do that against other people, and I just liked the opening 7. It was nice, even though it's Wyatt, Ziggler, and Ambrose again. Because it seems that's the main focus of SmackDown is right now is 3 feuds. That is, Styles, AJ, Brock, or Orton, and then you got the title. And I think they're treating the title as it's the most important title on the roster.
Yep.
It's more the focus of the show, and it should be. I mean, even though it's there's Bray Wyatt again in the match against Ziggler or whatever, at least it's the main focus, and it's the title. It's not. It's just not them two. It's just not a regular match. It's for the biggest of them all.
I guess you could do Rhino if you really wanted to. You could have Rhino versus Bray.
Or you can, if they want him to put the IC title on, and he can beat the Miz for it. I mean, that's another thing.
Well, I know the Miz is taking on Apollo at SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I'll just think
maybe they can
you could have
Wyatt if Apollo wins. Maybe they can feud or something. But we'll see what goes down there. I forgot, at the beginning of the show they announced Randy Orton versus Del Rio in a match. Then we had American Alpha versus, again, local jobbers. American Alpha get the win. The whole tag division came out. American Alpha took them out, all of them. So it looks like they are the #1 tag team on the roster. But if you look when they all came out, that tag team division is very slim. So hopefully they'll add a couple of more tag teams to the division. Next, we had hopefully what we thought was going to be basically maybe a rematch between Becky Lynch and Eva Marie, and again, it did not happen. We had a wardrobe malfunction with Eva Marie, so she was not able to wrestle. Instead, we had Alexa Bliss come out in her place to face Becky Lynch in a match, and Alexa Bliss got the win. 2 debuts tonight and 2 wins for the 2 people who debuted tonight. What did you think of the match between Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch, Justin?
I mean, it was good. I still think Alexa Bliss needs a little bit more time. I mean, but she's almost there, but I still think she needs a little bit more time in the ring. Becky Lynch is always good to watch. She's always good. I mean, I enjoyed the match though. I thought it was all right.
Dave?
I just agree to a point because I think Alexa Bliss is really good in the ring. I've been watching her a lot in NXT. I mean, I think she's really good. A lot better than Eva, of course. I think
she's 100% better than Eva Marie.
I mean, Alexis was right there with Bayley and Sasha and Charlotte and all of them at the same time. They were all down there in NXT. Bayley's still there, obviously, but I mean, she was one of those girls, from like the original class, like all of them. So yeah, I mean, she was actually one of the girls who came up with that Triple H entrance
Yes.
I feel
Pretty.
it was Charlotte, Sasha, and Alexa were the three girls, and so finally all three of them are up there now. So I mean, it's really cool to see Alexa finally up there and
Any
actually.
thoughts on tonight's show and Periscope? Yeah, I thought the match was good. I think definitely Alexa Bliss is out of the people that debuted or is on between her and Carmella and maybe I guess Nia Jax too. I think she's the most ready out of the bunch to move up. So congratulations on her winning her first match. Excuse me. Next week, I'm sorry, Dave.
Yeah, she definitely deserved the call up. She's been in NXT for so long.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Next we had Del Rio take on Randy Orton. And a good match until we saw a disqualification where Del Rio they're fighting they're wrestling outside the ring, and Del Rio ends up grabbing a chair and hitting Orton over the arm with it. They're really selling this injury or this, I guess injury if you want to say, to Randy Orton's arm, and I think it's going to really come into play during the match at SummerSlam, which I wouldn't be surprised if Brock wins by like submission or something. But it seems like they've been really targeting that area the last couple of weeks on SmackDown. What did you think of the match, Justin?
I liked it. I mean, for the amount of time they were given, and definitely I understand why they did the DQ to play up the injury, and basically they said he can still hit the RKO with an injured arm. So that might have been why they did this too. I mean,
Right. Yes, he did end up hitting Del Rio with a RKO out of nowhere. Dave, your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, it made sense. I mean, the match was good. And then the DQ made sense. And here's what we never thought. I mean, they could always turn Del Rio, I guess, but Del Rio's an option, too, for Bray Wyatt. I mean, that would be another option right there. You could have Del Rio versus Bray Wyatt. So, I mean, yeah, I thought the match was good. And I didn't mind. I usually don't like DQs, but it just made sense because it worked.
Yep.
Yeah, this DQ made sense. Usually DQs are kind of but this one actually kind of made sense in the long run.
SmackDown did really well, though, too, tonight.
Yeah, it just was on a smooth, nice little pace throughout the show.
It was a good SmackDown. It was a good 2-hour show. You focused on your women's division. You focused on your tag division, your main event. You talked about AJ and Cena, little video package. It worked perfectly.
Right. What did you guys in Periscope think of SmackDown tonight?
Did we want to talk about No Shelton Benjamin?
Oh yeah, Shelton Benjamin. Yeah, we'll get into that. I forgot about that. I didn't write that down. Yes, we'll get to that after SmackDown, definitely. Slater versus Rhino. Slater loses, so he still does not have. He's still the hottest free agent on the market right now. He didn't get the contract with SmackDown.
They were going to sign after the match, and he still did.
Yeah, they were going to sign him, but he went on this rant before they could tell him that, so he ended up walking out before they could do it. So I like this little gimmick or whatever they're doing with Heath Slater. It's kind of interesting. I like it.
He ended up in NXT. Shows up at like NXT TakeOver and tries to get a match.
That would be interesting.
That would be kind of cool, actually, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if he did that and they like debuted someone.
I think they are doing someone at TakeOver. I can't remember the name, though.
Yeah, so maybe they could, if they wanted to go that route, maybe they could debut someone on the NXT and have him do that. But I guess we'll have to see and find out. Next was Not So Over Carmella, who's not over at all. She's not over at all on SmackDown. The crowd is crickets when she comes out. They should have put her in with Enzo and Cass. Feel bad for her because she's over as hell, like I said in NXT last week on the show. She's not going anywhere, I don't think, on the main roster. She does get the win over Natalya, though. What did you think of the match, Dave?
If she's at Brooklyn and she doesn't get over and get a huge pop, then they have to just, I don't know what to do. She's from Brooklyn or New York or whatever. I mean, that should be she should get over huge there.
Right.
If she's going to do Natalia versus her at Brooklyn, then fine, but, I mean, because she can't get a huge pop from that crowd, I don't know what's wrong then. Because Natalia's getting bigger pops, and she's the one losing.
And that's pretty bad.
I don't like that fact that Natalia lost. I would rather see Natalia cheat and win, and then have Carmella go over at like Brooklyn on her. Hopefully a pre-show match. But I will give SmackDown credit, which I don't know who you give credit to really, but they are devoting, because they don't have a title either, but they're giving you more than one women's segment. With the 3-hour Raw, you're lucky if you get one women's match.
Hmm.
Right. I see what you mean. But I don't know. I just feel like I think Raw, if you want to compare the shows real quick, I think Raw really benefited from having, SmackDown benefited from having, more of their guys on the roster tonight than Raw.
Oh yeah.
Let me get my chart.
I mean, that's true. But I was just saying, I think SmackDown the last 2 weeks, Raw wasn't great last week either, but SmackDown is always been and always will be, I think, known for having, even when it was taped, when Edge was your champion on SmackDown, they always had more wrestling on SmackDown because, okay, we're just going to have wrestling. We're not going to, with the tape show, let's just put on 20-minute matches. And that's what they're doing. And even Daniel Bryan, I think, said it on Talking Smack tonight that we want to put together more competitive matches on SmackDown. And he even took shots at Raw again, saying that he think SmackDown was way better than Raw last night.
I think Raw would benefit from going back down to 2 hours, definitely, but I don't know why they're getting cheap for 3.
Because that money they're making from a third hour is just really helping them.
That's a good point, too, but they're just, I don't know.
All right, we're back on Periscope. Sorry.
Because this is since we just finished. Where do you finish SmackDown? So go ahead. Let's finish up SmackDown first, and I'll say this.
Yeah, so we're finishing up SmackDown here. Like we said, Carmelo gets the win. Ambrose Ziggler versus the Wyatt family. Good match. Ambrose and Ziggler get the win. After the match, Ambrose does the dirty deeds on Ziggler, so I like that. That was pretty cool. Your guys' thoughts on the match, Justin?
I thought it was pretty good. I actually thought the Wyatt family was gonna just get disqualified just to end the match early, but I mean, for the amount of time they were given, I mean, they all did pretty good, and I actually thought that Ziggler was gonna hit the zigzag on Ambrose instead of Ambrose doing dirty deeds to him.
Right.
So that was kind of interesting.
What about you, Dave?
I thought it was a good match. I mean, I think we were talking last night, Tony, and I was saying if they're both on, if all 4 of these guys were on the show tomorrow,
I don't think they should let Ziggler win, but he should definitely get a different story. As in, what do you mean?
I mean,
also, Dave, if you don't mind inviting your followers. A different title. Oh, okay. All right, I get you.
A tag title, maybe, but I don't know if they're going to make another singles because SmackDown didn't get the roster for it right now.
Right.
The problem I had with tonight, and I was talking to you on Periscope about it, Tony, is Ambrose doing that suicide dive. I mean, jeez, dude. I mean, lucky he could land it on his neck, but he landed on his back, I think, but people keep screwing up the suicide dive. I mean, please.
Yeah, someone's going to get hurt doing the suicide dive.
Definitely.
You don't the neck doing it.
Just jump over the damn rope. That's all you got to do. Instead of diving over it, or diving in between, just jump over it.
Crossbody would be more safer to do than the suicide dive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Because, I'm sorry, but Ziggler is not WWE World title worthy. He's a B+ player. I think yeah. I mean, he's had his run in the WWE long enough, I think. But I mean, I'm liking the story so far. What
I
they're
mean,
doing.
he's a good wrestler, and I mean, he really hasn't really changed his gimmick at all. He's been the same guy for the past 10, 15 years, however long he's been there. He's been
Oh,
the
yeah.
same exact guy. Even when he was a heel, he played the same character.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's changed.
Right, right. Um. So overall, Periscope, Raw, SmackDown, you two guys, what was the better show?
SmackDown.
Dave,
Yeah, SmackDown by far.
what about you guys on Periscope? What was the better show? SmackDown or Raw? I think we can all be in agreement that SmackDown was better. I did a poll last night on Twitter. Let me see if I can get it up real quick. It was actually kind of interesting to see all the feedback from the people actually thought the podcast last night was better than Raw. I saw that.
I agree with that.
Let's see. Let me scroll down here. I think the brand split is part of a major story that will shake WWE forever. Okay. That's interesting. Like how? Let's see. Gotta scroll down a little bit more. Let's touch on these recent releases while I look up the poll results.
Let me ask you and Justin something really quick.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you had a question. That's right. I forgot to mention. Say, yeah.
Do you think Vince is doing this on purpose, where he'll make it where Raw looks so bad, and they just want to make SmackDown look better to maybe possibly bring up the SmackDown rating? Maybe week by week they kind of switch where they think, let's make it where SmackDown's really good this week, and Raw is kind of mediocre. Do you think they do this on purpose?
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt Vince.
Would say yes. Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt Vince saying, let's have SmackDown be the better show. But I don't know if I don't know. I think last night they just really hurt from not having everybody, the big guys there, because they were already, traveling overseas and stuff. But now that I got the poll results up, I got the poll results up, and then we'll touch a little bit about the releases before we end the show tonight. I asked, what did you think of the WWE Raw tonight? I put good, decent, podcast was better, or sucked. At 18% we had good, 21% we had decent, 29% said it sucked, and 32% said the podcast was better. So that pretty much wraps what happened last night in a nutshell. That pretty much just the podcast was better than Raw itself. Tough night for Raw last night, I would have to say.
Yeah, by far.
What I thought was really cool about that podcast last night was Ambrose basically saying, Brock wouldn't let me do anything. Brock was lazy. He wouldn't let me do anything. And so it was just like one of those things like, wow. It was like, he wouldn't let him do anything. He wouldn't let him call anything or do anything. And that's cool that Ambrose is one of those guys who doesn't want to go over his matches before the match. He wants to do it during the match. I like that.
Yeah, it was a good podcast, just awkward in the beginning. But, I mean, it got better as it went on.
I also did a vote on Twitter about what show was better, and SmackDown was, the overall winner, of course.
SmackDown.
I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
SmackDown's 2 hours.
I think SmackDown will reunite with the Nexus and dominate Raw and SmackDown again. I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. It'd be an interesting storyline, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think he's gonna. I think the best thing would be him to go like to NXT and debut someone and something like that. But I don't know. I like the storyline that they're doing with T Center right now. But let's touch on these releases. We had Joey Styles released recently from the WWE. He was kind of the behind the scenes on the website kind of guy, so I guess that didn't really too drastic there. Ryback was recently released. He hasn't been in WWE for a while now. Anyways, they had some contract issues, so he's been gone for quite a while. Anyways, so bye-bye Ryback. We may be seeing him in TNA or a lot of the independent shows, most likely. Injuries. Shelton Benjamin will not be returning to WWE SmackDown. He, I guess, tore his rotator cuff.
Yeah.
So he's going to be out for a long time.
That sucks, because I was looking forward to him coming back. I think we all were.
Yeah, so that's a shame. We're all looking forward to him, like Justin said, to see him back in the ring. But we just wish him the best on his recovery. It's going to be a long journey for him to come back to the wrestling ring. Kind of wrestling news and notes. I know that the WWE are interested in quite a few old timers or old guys that used to be in the WWE, like Carlito, Mickey James.
MVP.
They said DDP, really?
No, MVP.
Oh, MVP, and a couple of other names. So, Kurt Hawkins is another guy that's rumored to be back in the WWE. So look for some of those guys to be returning on your television screen. Let's see. Oh, Conor McGregor ripped into the WWE, pretty much calling the WWE wrestlers pussies, which got the WWE and wrestlers, period, in an uproar, as in tweeting him back and forth, not really back and forth, but tweeting at Conor McGregor. We had Ric Flair go at him, Roman Reigns.
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair. I mean, it was Sasha Banks, Rusev, Taz, Kurt Angle. I mean, the list goes on and on. These guys were not happy at the words Conor McGregor said. He kind of went back and kind of rephrased it, saying more that no disrespect to WWE fans, but I'm just saying that I would slap him around. And he may be able to slap around a couple of guys, but some of those guys in that WWE locker room or any wrestling locker room period could absolutely crush Conor McGregor. I would love to see him go in a one-on-one matchup against Big Show or Mark Henry or Roman Reigns. You know, as much as you want to hate Roman Reigns, so Roman Reigns could absolutely hurt Conor McGregor.
He would rip, yeah. He would rip.
So, I mean, right, I mean,
he would love to see Dolph Ziggler stretch him.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, Conor McGregor, yes, he's a great UFC fighter under rules. When there's no rules involved and it's just straight up do what you want to do, Big Show can just grab you by your hand or leg and pick you up and slam you into anything that he would like. So he could break you in half, literally, if Big Show really wanted to. So these guys aren't pussies because what they do is fake. And it's not fake, it's scripted. Yeah. Wrestling isn't fake, it's scripted. I would love for anybody in any sport go take a couple of bumps off a top rope or anything like these guys do on a nightly basis, 300 and whatever days out of the nights they do it. So I don't understand why he would rip the WWE unless it's maybe possible work. Maybe at the time it was not, but it's definitely going to lead up to something happening at WrestleMania, I would have to assume.
It has to.
The guy is going to be the one doing the job for the UFC guy.
I don't know. I don't know if maybe they kind of play it around to where Conor, you know, shows up maybe and says that I was.
It's probably going to be Conor beating some WWE guy. I mean, honestly, I don't see Dana White sign a deal where his guy goes and loses to a scripted wrestler at WrestleMania. I just
Yeah,
don't.
that's what I'm saying.
he fights somebody in an MMA match.
Maybe it's a tag match or some kind of match where he's in it with a WWE guy, because I don't see him in a match by himself. I don't see that happening anymore with guys, actors or athletes having
Well,
matches. You
it
know,
was just announced that Big Show's going to take on Shaq next year.
yeah, but is that really? I mean, serious. In all serious, we're gonna probably see a total of 4 moves in that match.
Shaq's probably going to win.
Maybe, but we'll probably see 4 moves total, and that's clotheslines, body slams, choke slams, and maybe some.
Shaq beat him in the Battle Royal last year at WrestleMania. But to be in an actual match, it's just like, oh, brother.
Yeah, but I get it. They're in Orlando. They want butts in the seats. I get it. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be Shaq versus Seth Rollins. Then I'll be like, give me a break. But
yeah, that would be.
I get what you mean. But Conor McGregor, you can rip anybody you would like, but don't rip guys that you're never going to get your hands on physically. You can rip Nate Diaz all you want because you're going to get him in the octagon in 2 weeks. But don't just rip some WWE guy's head off where you don't know their past, you don't know what they can do to you, and how strong they are. Roman Reigns.
He's talking crap. Nate Diaz is probably going to beat him again anyway. So.
Right. Is that as much as we do not like Roman Reigns, we all know Roman Reigns can beat all 3 of us up at one time.
Oh yeah.
So.
I thought it was funny. I don't know if y'all caught it. He says that he doesn't have a problem with the McMahons, Triple H, or The Rock. Everybody else, whatever.
Oh, Connor said that.
Yes. You don't have a problem with the McMahons, Triple H, or The Rock.
And that would make me to think maybe we see a tag match and Triple H gets involved. Because I read that Triple H right now is just kind of staying behind the scenes. He wants to have a match at WrestleMania, but he doesn't know who he wants to face. They're saying that it could be a young up-and-comer that he'll get over, which makes sense. It could be an NXT guy. Could be Nakamura. That'd be pretty cool. But
money right there.
But maybe we'll see. Maybe him and maybe Connor. Maybe Connor plays the heel on WWE TV. You never know. And it would work. Because Conor McGregor has the mouth to where you can hate him.
Yep.
So
Texas kid is driving me crazy.
Just ignore him. If he's driving you nuts, just ignore him.
He just said kid for life versus Conor McGregor at WrestleMania 33.
Yeah. Conor McGregor would beat you in 2 seconds.
And then I doubt we'll ever see.
None of us in this room right now talking could beat Conor McGregor. Honestly. I mean, seriously. You can call him a pussy, you can call him whatever you like, but you would not call him that in his face. Is there anything else to touch on before we end the show tonight? Sorry, lackluster show tonight because Raw and SmackDown was kind of lackluster. Yes, SmackDown was good, but I think that was by default because Raw wasn't that great. It's just...
You know what I thought was Joey Styles' release. Just simply because he just did a Facebook Live a week or so ago, and he said he hates the Universal Name Championship. He said he hates a 3-man commentary team. He said he's probably going to get fired after he does this. And lo and behold, he's fired.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I'll say is if if Raw keeps going the way they're going, and when football starts, they're going to go way down. They're going to be in trouble.
Right, and I think they're really hoping that Balor, winning the title helps them get over the hump with the fan. And with Balor, I think there's at least in my eyes, there's a lot of matches I would like to see Balor for guys he face, so.
Does not make sense. Shut up.
Yeah, it should be the WWE Universe title, not Universal title.
Yeah.
But anyways, NFL's gonna crush, especially that first night, week 1.
Yeah,
They better have a title match. They better have like 3 title matches.
The first two Monday Night games on, or is it 3?
Week 1 of Monday Night Raw. I'm sorry, football. They better have the cruiserweight division debuting.
Yeah.
Or they can't. I don't know. Wait. Does week 1 come after? I think it comes after, right? The cruiserweight division's over.
Yeah, because you gotta like.
They're doing a live 2-hour special too for the Cruiserweight Classic to end it.
Right. Which will be live afterwards. But I'm saying maybe they do something like that. So Raw has a lot of stuff they need to take care of because they're gonna get killed. I mean, they got a 2-point. Yeah, they got a horrible rating this week. I wouldn't be surprised if SmackDown beats them this week. I don't know. We'll see what happens next week. Next week looks like it's going to be kind of action-packed, especially on the Raw side. We'll have Balor on the show, Seth Rollins, of course. We'll have Brock Lesnar's going to be there. So
are we going to do our predictions next week then? Since summer.
Yeah, we'll run down. We'll do a little quick predictions show next week. Next week we'll do a prediction show. Also, give us, I want to know more about NXT. I've never seen it.
See, that's the reason why some people don't get pops that they do because people don't have the network, so they can't watch them like that.
Tomorrow night, Amashi versus Alexander, that's going to be freaking awesome.
My suggestion for you, sir, is if you have any kind of device that will pick up the network, they have a 1-month subscription free. I would just get it for free for 1 month, watch the heck out of NXT, because they have them all saved on there.
That alone
watch the heck out. Oh, you have the network. We have the network. Well, what are you waiting for? Just go back, watch not all of them, but of course, but if you want to know more about it, catch up more on these last couple of episodes, get to see who these guys are. If you live in America and they come to your city, I would definitely go and see them. They have the best live shows I've seen. So I would definitely, just check out the network. They have a lot of stuff that wrestling fan like you and us three dream of. So the network is probably is a dream come true for everybody. I promise by next week I'll have seen half. All right, awesome. There's your homework.
Classic. Something that everyone should check out right now.
Classic next week. Oh, Dave, here we go. You forgot. 2-minute TNA report starting now.
Okay, I know we had we had a King of the Mountain match, which James Storm won the title, and so now it's going to be Lashley versus James Storm. Not sure if it's this week or I'm sure it's going to be before Bound for Glory, because Lashley wants all the single titles. And you have Gail Kim going through this win every match to get another title shot, and she just picked up another win. And we had a pretty good match with EC3 and Michael Bennett. Michael Bennett going over and getting the title shot. So, with all that stuff going on, we have Ashley. Also, we have Matt and Jeff kind of doing, trying to win back the tag titles, which Matt said Brother Nero is going to have to win the handicap tag matches and win the tag titles back since he lost them. But after last week, you had Matt tag in, and then get the pinfall over a couple of jobbers. So, it seems like they're going the route of possibly having the Hardys become tag champions. So, it's definitely interesting. And now so
I know they also announced Bound for Glory for TNA fans, if y'all are watching. Will be October 2nd in Orlando. So if you guys are interested in it's on pay-per-view, so you have to pay for it. I will not. Sorry. We will not touch on TNA.
There's a Titantron that says Bound for Glory. There's going to be no ropes, no apron, nothing. It's not going to seem like. It's just going to seem like Impact. They had to pay $40 for it.
We love wrestling, and I'm not going to cover TNA because I absolutely hate the owner, and I'm not going to touch on TNA. So I let my buddy Dave touch his 2-minute report. We at least get it in on the program because I know we got some TNA fans. When we used to do this show back in the day, TNA fans were one of our loyalist fans that used to watch our show. So we respect the hell out of TNA fans, the ones that are not crazy TNA fans, that is.
They also had a better roster like 3 or 4 years ago too. Now
we respect all companies, but right now, we just touch on Raw and SmackDown, and then the news all around it as well. So
something else we could mention is Bobby Roode made his NXT debut last week, so now he's in NXT.
Right, yeah. So I mean, NXT's getting all the great guys. So definitely, if you're not enjoying what you're right, so if you're not enjoying what you're seeing on Raw or SmackDown, definitely check out NXT every Wednesday night. I think it comes on at 8.
Check out the Classic.
And then you got the Cruiserweight Classic tomorrow night. We got the second round starting up, so that's going to be great. So
Yes.
Enjoy that if you can. But yeah, I think that will be in the show tonight. Unless you got something, unless we got anything else to say. I'm sorry we kind of had some technical issues on Periscope. So I apologize for that. I think it was because my phone was dying and not on the charger. So I apologize for that. We had up to excuse me, 30 viewers tonight on all 3 Periscopes. So I apologize for everybody for backing out and remaking it, so I appreciate that. If Texas Kid, if you're still in here, can you please put up our Twitter handle if you don't mind? Please follow us on Twitter. SummerSlam night after the pay-per-view, I'm going to do a giveaway. Most likely a pay-per-view, a DVD. So the only way you'll be able to get the DVD is if you either follow me on Periscope, or you follow one of us on Twitter, or you follow the show on Twitter. And if you're a follower, I'm going to draw a random name out of a hat, and you will win whatever DVD that I decide. It'll probably be ROH or some sort of, WWE, or it's going to be a wrestling DVD. So if you want to join us, please follow us on Periscope, follow us on Twitter, and we'll be back next Tuesday night after SmackDown Live. We give our predictions on SummerSlam, and then we'll be back again next Sunday night as well after SummerSlam to give our thoughts and opinions on that. So feel free to join us and, give us your opinions and everything on that. Anything else you guys want to add on before we end tonight's show? We'll start with Justin first.
I already said it, but the only thing I'm going to be disappointed about for next week's Raw is just going to be the crowd, because Corpus is always a crappy crowd. I mean, we've been passed up for Raw and SmackDown for the past 2 or 3 years, I think. So, I mean... Right.
Yeah, the Corpus crowd is one of the worst crowds in wrestling history, and you'll find out next week when Brock Lesnar comes out, you'll hear...
SmackDown should be okay, but I mean, like I said, San Antonio's been passed over for 2 or 3 years for both, which is stupid.
Right.
And we haven't had a pay-per-view in a long time.
Right. So, us San Antonio guys feel left out. Dave, anything else you would like to touch on before we head out?
If you haven't seen it, go back and watch Gargano versus Ciampa. That was a really good.
That match was incredible.
Cruiserweight.
Yes. Right. The last episode of NXT, if you would like to see a great match, Gargano versus Ciampa, check it out. It was a great match. Cruiserweight Classic has been a knockout of the ballpark, so hopefully they'll bring it back next year and more years to come. And
the second round, just looking at the second round, honestly, right now, it looks unbelievable, the matchups we got coming up. I mean, man, there's some really fun matches. I mean, I think Jerry wrestles too.
Right, so we'll touch next week a little on the Ibushi Cedric Alexander match, and we'll touch on the guys who advanced on to the third round. So I guess that's going to be it for tonight. So from us, from Anthony, Tony, from me, Tony, Justin, Dave, and the whole Get the Tables podcast crew, we thank everybody for joining us on Periscope, all the 30 people that joined us and stayed here for the whole hour, everybody who's going to watch this video. Thanks for making our last video our most watched video since coming back. And we appreciate all our loyal fans on Periscope. You guys are the most loyal because we get the most views live from you guys, and we really appreciate this. You make our nights a whole lot easier doing these shows. But yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday night. Hope you guys can join us, and we'll see you then.